All right, we're back. We're back very quickly for round 3 here. We got Energy and Esper Gift, arguably the two best decks in the format. Jared and the handsome John Douglas, whose handsome voice here on Tuesday Night Modern. Patrick, who do you like in this matchup?
I like the gift decks in this matchup. I actually have tested this matchup a decent amount with Zach, my friend who's going, I mentioned earlier, who's going to the Pro Tour, and I definitely think the gift deck has an advantage in this matchup. I think they're going over the top of what Temur is trying to do and able to interact with. That being said, Jared did just draw a very important card in this matchup in Magma Spray. Being able to kill this Minister and exile it is very important. I don't know if Jared is running main deck Abrades, but I've definitely felt like that can help swing the matchup.
Not sure on that one either. I know Jared mulliganed the 6 on the draw here.
Okay, that's unfortunate.
Thank you for the follow there, Fagor. Fagor. Did I get that right? Phaegur. Let us know if you got that right.
Yeah. So doesn't look like John has had the best start. So
he's got what, like?
Oh, he went. Oh, those are in. Are those in play? The search on the gate.
Oh.
I actually think those are in play.
Yeah,
so yeah, never mind.
Awkwardly.
He's gotten a pretty good start. Those look like they had been like revealed in his hand or something, but
just chilling there.
He doesn't have any play anything. So what Jared needs to do is he just needs to try to kill John.
Yep.
He doesn't want to screw around with anything. He's definitely going to want to spray this Minister. He does not want to let it block.
He's letting it mill.
He's letting it mill, and looks like he's gonna let it die. This is not something you want to happen.
He's letting it die. Thank you, Anthony J. Glover. Anthony J. Gower. I can't read. That's Gower?
Where?
It was, I think he said Anthony J. Gower in the bottom right with a follow there. I mean, if Saffron Olive can be famous for not pronouncing anything, why can't
I? So yeah, it looks like we're just getting life totals updated. And so this is really going to depend on how Jared's going to play this matchup. I definitely think you need to approach it as basically like an aggro deck with some removal, something. So what you're going to see here is John is going to get Godfair's Gift, probably going to bring back Angel, and before combat,
in response to the Angel trigger?
Yeah, he's gonna have to do it in response to Angel trigger to actually have enough energy.
Jared's hand is pretty removal heavy with the 2 Harness Lightning.
Yeah,
spray.
So if John was at a lower life total or Jared had more pressure, I would like that. That's actually one of the ways you can win this matchup is killing anything the gate can get back. But Jared does not have enough pressure to reliably sustain that.
No, Jared has virtually no pressure. He's dealing 3 a turn, and he's going to be in the face of John getting 14 in a turn step if he wishes to. As John has a Seeker Squire in hand, he's a Fatal Push as well.
Yeah, so we're going to see this Angel. Hopefully Jared tries to kill this with the trigger on the stack.
There's a trigger. John's grabbing some dice.
Which it doesn't look like it, and Jared is now going to have to both cast Magma Spray and Harness Lightning if he wants to be able to kill this.
And that card's already exiled, so it's not going to exile it again.
Yeah, so there's been a couple missteps here from Jared. By themselves, they're not huge, but they are going to start to add up. And you're going to see here, he's actually just going to take 6, which is not something you can really afford to do in this spot. This is definitely a race. And with a 6/6 flying lifelinker, Vigilance, that's a very hard race for John to win, or John to lose and Jared to win.
Jared's draw for the turn was a Servant of the Conduit to go with his Harness Lightning, Magma Spray.
So that's not bad. It does make it so he can just Harness Lightning this.
It's not good either, though.
Yeah, it's not. This isn't how he really wants this matchup to be going. Now he's gonna get the 4/4 champ. He's gonna get the Champion of Wits back. John is when he untaps. And you're gonna see here John's gonna block and then probably kill the Thopter.
Yep. And he can Fatal Push one of these servants too if he so wishes to.
Which I don't see why you wouldn't.
No, he's got to save it. Save it for a rainy day.
He did, however, not use his... Oh, wait, he doesn't have a gate in play anymore.
No. He's also not flipping that Azcanta just because, again, it doesn't do anything for him being flipped. He wants to keep scrying and putting stuff.
I could see him actually wanting the 4th land. I'm surprised he didn't want that. But he is now getting back Champion of Wits. And this is what I was talking about in the matchup. This late game... Not even the late game. This is just this end game for the Esper gift deck with Godfarer's Gift is so much bigger than what Jared and Temur Energy is trying to do. So you're going to see Jared's going to have a bit of a problem just keeping up this constant stream of threats.
John's doing this with 3 now 4 mana too, which is the impressive part.
And I wouldn't be surprised if you just see a Magma Spray fired off on this Minister of Inquiries.
Well, here's a Seeker Squire. He had the option to play a Kitesail Freebooter, chose not to.
The Kitesail Freebooter actually went pretty good. I don't think John's really in a place where he's worried about anything. If I am Jared, though, I am going to want to kill this Minister as soon as I can. You're going to see that John doesn't have many high-impact creatures in his graveyard. He doesn't have any Hostage Takers. He doesn't have any Angel Inventions.
But that can change very
That can change with this Minister. So what might be happening is there's a possibility that Jared is a little inexperienced in this matchup.
As John mills over a Angel of Invention with the Search for Azcanta.
Yeah, and he's actually choosing to flip it now. Maybe because he's thinking about playing the Hostage Taker that he has in hand now, and also wanting to still leave up Fatal Push.
I can see that he wants to maximize his mana.
Yeah, also he at some point is going to have the opportunity of getting back Scarab God with Gate to the Afterlife, and he's going to want to be able to activate it and maybe still hold up Fatal Push.
Yeah.
Or he's at the point where he doesn't really need to put more threats into his graveyard.
No,
and maybe if he doesn't have anything to do with his mana, the Search might be able to flip. And okay, I don't understand this not casting the Magma Spray here.
So I think you can't.
What do you mean?
I think I want to say you can't.
You can cast it in response to the trigger.
I know it's different than Feed Hunter, but I never understood the actual.
I mean, so when he plays Kitesail, there's a trigger that goes on the stack.
Yeah.
He cast Harness Lightning in response, and he had 1 mana. He had like 3 mana available.
I don't know why he didn't.
Yeah, I think this is.
That's right. The interaction is if you kill the freebooter, you get the card back, even if it goes away if there's a trigger on the stack, right?
Yes.
So it's not like Fiend Hunter where you can just, we're going to respond to
the
trigger in a second. No. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, it's all 1 clause. So what happens with like Fiend Hunter and Mesmeric Fiend is there's separate triggers that go on the stack. And you're going to see your Jared just going to scoop them up. We're going to go to game 2.
It always just like confused me just because it was different.
Yeah, it's because of how there's some creatures, and especially like the most famous is Oblivion Ring.
Yeah.
Oblivion Ring has 2 different triggers. One that happens when it enters the battlefield, and one that happens when it leaves the battlefield.
And of course, they fixed that with Banishing Light.
Yeah, when Banishing Light came out, they didn't make it straight. I don't think Banishing Light's any permanent, is it?
Let's pull it up, but it shows you how important it is to read the wording on the cards. For example, did you know that Vizier Many Faces can copy a Carnage Tyrant or a Bristling Hydra?
I did, and that's because of how clones work. They don't target.
That is correct.
They just choose something as they enter battlefield. That's actually something that all clone effects have in common.
It's pretty good here. As we have Banish Light, we're going to pull it up here. Second, there we go. When Banish Light enters
no, it is not land permanent. Okay. I haven't played that much with Banishing Light, so...
Whereas Oblivion Ring, I believe it has the 2 lines of text.
Yes, Oblivion Ring does have the 2 lines of text. It's how you can just exile things permanently.
Yep. Comes into play, moving your turn permanently. The game, period, and then another sentence. There's a Vizier to Many Faces. Keyword there is the fact that it doesn't say that keyword, target. So
yeah,
you're seeing it in these sideboards. It's really good at copying and opposing Bristling Hydras or Carnage Tyrants, or as we saw Jared in round 1, just copying your own Glorybringer to deal a buttload of damage.
Yep. So we'll see there if I do think that the game was played somewhat poorly by Jared there. I don't think he optimized the way his removal should have lined up with John's hand. And while I do think there would have been a small chance, I do think if Jared used his removal optimally, then he could have had at least a chance of winning that game. The way he played it, I didn't think that he had much of an opportunity to kind of stabilize from what the gift was doing.
Yeah, his hand didn't line up the way he probably wanted it to, but he still had the opportunity to capitalize and make sure he's not, just losing the game to these big threats that are getting reanimated with the gift.
Yeah, honestly, I think his hand actually, from my experience in this matchup, that his hand almost lined up exactly how you can have it hope to have it line up game 1.
Even without that early pressure?
That's what the one thing he was really missing was like a turn 2 Long Tusk Cub. Even just a turn 3 Rogue Refiner would have probably been enough pressure to close that game out.
I do agree with you. You want to bolt Minister because that's the sixth bird.
That was, in my opinion, the biggest mistake he made.
That's the engine for this deck.
Yeah, if he kills that Minister, John only gets 1 activation from it, and it's also exiled, so he doesn't get gate triggers. He's 1 creature lower on his graveyard creature count, so he can activate his gates not later.
Not as quickly. Yeah, he has to wait a little bit more and find other ways to put cards in a graveyard.
Yeah, and then he definitely should have harnessed Lightning that Angel with the trigger on the stack.
Yes.
It would have saved him 6 life. It would have cost John 6 life.
And again, it could be just Jared not being familiar with the matchup.
Yeah, I think that's probably what it is. If it was just like 1, maybe even 2, like slight misplays there, they could just be misplays. But I think what ended up happening there was just him not being as experienced in the matchup and not realizing that you have to be the aggressor. There's no way you can control what the Esper Gift deck is doing.
To be fair, not many people here play Esper Gift.
That's true. I think it's just John and...
Well, Doug's playing Snipe, but Doug has played literally every deck in every format as much as he wants. Doug is lucky enough to be in a situation where he has an infinite supply of cards available to him. Now, I don't know how different your sideboard is, and I don't know how different Jared's sideboard is, but here's mine. I have 2 Vizier Many Faces, 1 Abrade, 2 Shards of Defeat, 4 Negate, 2 Slice and Twain, 2 Nissa, Steward of Elements, and 2 Deathgorge Scavengers. Obviously, you bring in Abrade, Slice and Twain, and Deathgorge Scavenger. Other than that, what else would you bring in this matchup?
Honestly, not that much else. Aside from the obvious cards, like you said, like Deathgorge Abrade and the artifact removal spells, I think you probably want negates if he has them. There's some teamer lists that have been running Spell Pierce over negate.
I've seen that. I think
you just want either copy. You just need to keep Godfarer's Gift off the table as soon as possible. Yep. And honestly, a lot of Esper Gift players will just play a gate on 3 and hope it sticks.
Do you cut Bristling Hydra in sideboard?
I've been waffling on that. I think it's a little too good, and it lines up a little too well against Hostage Taker to cut it. I've actually leaned towards cutting some number of Glorybringers.
I can see that
in the matchup. It's not something you want to get hostage taken. It lines up really poorly against Angel of Invention, and killing their small creatures.
It helps them.
Yeah, it helps them. It's what they want to do, and it really doesn't matter. I mean, yeah, you can stop a chump blocker. You can stop maybe a Minister from activating 1 more time.
Looks like John's gonna mulligan at 5 here.
Yeah. Other than that, Glorybringer is only really good as a 4/4 flying haste. But in this matchup, you really just need to punish them for having a weak early game.
Yeah.
And so you need...
And be able to put pressure with that negate or Spell Pierce backup.
That's the thing I really like about Spell Pierce, especially in this matchup, is you can, on your turn 3, if you're on the play, you can play a 2-drop and hold up Spell Pierce.
That or even a card like Deathgorge Scavenger. You can stick down on turn 3 and start attacking every turn and taking out a creature from the graveyard. It's pretty good. I know people didn't play a card like Crook and Combination before just because it didn't do enough on its own, but now we get more and more graveyard hate. Sentinel Totem Scries, Deathgorge Scavenger obviously is attached to a body. You can help give you life or make it bigger.
The problem I've seen with Deathgorge Scavenger is Deathgorge Scavenger is pretty slow. A lot of the times you'll see these Esper Gift decks, they can fill their graveyard up in one, maybe even like two, maybe even one turn, with gate triggers, Minister of Inquiries, even Search for his Canada. Just being able to dump an extra creature in your graveyard can really help.
So you're just worried it's not fast enough, even though it's really good at what it does. It might be too little.
Yeah,
too
it's
late.
good at putting on pressure, and it's like some pressure and some disruption in one card, which is definitely good. I'm not saying you shouldn't bring in the matchup. I definitely think it's something you want. It's something you should probably need to be competitive. But there's some people that's saying it's this like lights out knockout punch card. It's not.
Crooked Combination is a lights out knockout punch card.
Not even then. Like,
even just going, I don't care what you target with Gift, I'm gonna exile in response.
Gift doesn't target. Gift, when the Gift ability resolves, they get to choose a creature.
Well, how about that?
Yeah. So we'll see what ends up happening. I think in the Pro Tour, if Gift is going to be a real deck, a real competitive deck, I think we're going to see it break out at the Pro Tour. And part of the problem I think we're going to see is people might be expecting that and might have hate. And you're going to see here the effects of John's mulligan to 5. Kept a one-lander. Finally finds the second land, gets to play his freebooter, but a lot of cards in his hand are blue, and he does not have blue mana.
That's what Jared's working with. He's got the Spell Pierce. He's got 2 with Aethers and a Wrestling Hydra. And John says this don't look good, and not really.
Yeah, Jared is going to be able to play a Bristling Hydra next turn, and then he's going to be able to play double Attune. Jared at some point is going to be forced to chump block, and this spell pierce.
John's going to chump block eventually?
Yeah, John's going to be forced to chump block at some point, excuse me. And yeah, I mean, mulligans to 5, keeping one-landers.
Not the greatest.
Yeah, you're probably going to be a little lower to win that game anyway, but this is what Jared needs in this matchup. He had turn 2 creature, turn 3 creature, turn 4 creature, all fairly powerful on their curve spots, all fairly aggressive, and he has had disruption backup with that Spell Pierce. This is exactly the kind of hand he needs to see in this matchup. And honestly, even if John didn't mulligan to 5,
this is still a really good hand
I
for
think
Jared
this
on the
is
play.
probably on the play one of Jared's best hands that he can have. You can see he did bring in at least one copy of Death Court Scavenger.
This is a hand for Jared that says, John, you better sit up fast, otherwise I'm going to punish you for it and hit you in the face.
Yeah, and
Jared does not have the same removal he did game 1, but he has the clock, which is probably more important.
yeah, I definitely believe having the clock is more important. You do want one piece of, like, maybe one Harness Lightning or one Magma Spray, something to really put that final tempo swing blow to the Gift deck. So, like, they play their Gift, get back their Angel, just like, kill it, you're dead on board. Or they are like, okay, I'm going to play this Seeker Squire, hope to block, hope to jump block, survive, Harness Lightning, Magma Spray. Nope, you're dead on board.
John very quickly said no blocks that attack, and Jared follows up.
He can't afford to.
Jared's got himself another Rogue Refiner, some more energy. He drew a land at the Rogue Refiner, so you might need to find one more follow-up, but it might not matter if John can't play any of the cards in hand.
Yeah, and you're going to see, he's going to scoop him up, writings on the wall. Not going to win that game.
So Jared taking advantage of both an advantageous start with his aggressive creatures, and John's mulligan to 5.
Yeah, and honestly, I think
ties it up.
If John's going to mulligan to 5, in his mind, that was the game he was rather do it.
Just go, well, I'm not winning this game anyway, so let's just scoop it up and get out of here and try to get on playing game 3 is what we'll do. Do you think there's any difference in sideboarding for either deck for being on the play and draw?
I do think that I don't think there's any big differences. I do think that Spell Pierce might get a little worse for Jared when he's on the draw, because you can't have that turn 3 2-drop into Spell Pierce your gate.
Better, you can't go turn 2 Servant, turn 3 3-shot with Spell Pierce backup.
Yeah. So I don't think that's an excuse to cut it, but on the draw you might want to try to play maybe a more aggressive game than a disruptive game, which is kind of weird because he is on the draw.
But he can't out-tempo John because he's not He doesn't have the land advantage. He doesn't necessarily have the way to stay ahead of mana and therefore keep up that spell pierce while pressure. He has to choose one or the other. And that's a pretty good recipe if you try to choose both in the draw. That's a pretty good recipe, I feel like, to not win.
Yeah. It's definitely something that he can do, but what you really want on the draw as Temur, what you really need to see is something like Appetite. You need to see something like Appetite, Abrade, Slice and Twain, because John's just, unless you want to take your entire turn off to hold up Negate and counter their Gate to the Afterlife, you're not going to be able to stop the Gate. You're not going to be able to stop them getting Godfarer's Gift.
Yeah, I mean, he's not playing amazing cards all the time, but he's not playing slouches either.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like we talked about earlier round one. You can't keep up the Essence Scatter and just get Chandra and you just fold. That's why Jared needs to. Oh boy.
And you see Jared mulligan to 6, I believe. So it's not the worst thing in the world. That's fine.
Our spotter telling Jared he does not start with 14 energy.
Yeah.
Jared would have loved that to go turn 2 Cub with 14 energy in the bank.
Yeah, oh, that's... You want a way to win. That's a way to win. That's what we call a turn 4 kill.
That's also illegal, sadly.
That's true.
We see Anthony J. Gower talking about how he's considering a transformational sideboard of Temur turning into a straight pummeler deck. Just because people don't expect it. How do you feel about pummeler, just in general right now?
So, I'm one of the few people that thinks pummeler actually has a shot. I've talked to a lot of people that really don't think that pummeler is going to be good, and I think pummeler does suffer from some of the incidental hate it's seeing from Temur and also vehicles being a thing. When Abrade's a card that people play in the format, then pummeler does suffer, but I do think pummeler is an interesting option. You can play a slightly fair game, kind of like Temur does. It's a little bit worse, and you're a little bit more aggressive, but there are some times that you just go turn 3 pummeler into attack you on turn 4, pump it 5 times.
With the defense backup, too.
Yeah, with Blossoming Defense. Invigorated Rampage. I've seen some lists that have been running 4 copies of Cartouche of Knowledge to give it flying, which I thought was insane, but was kind of great.
Both players among on the 6 here. John with the perfect start and Jared with a tap land.
Yeah, I mean, there are worse starts. At least he has green and red mana. I think those are probably the most important colors he needs. He needs to play his 2-drops. He needs to play his Magma Sprays.
Looks like John found land number 3 off that Seeker Squire.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty good. And this is, again, the big difference on play versus draw with these 2 decks. John here gets the opportunity to just play Gate. And if it resolves, that's pretty good. That's really good for him.
And guess what card is in Jared's hand right now?
Is it Gate?
It's Spell Pierce. Jared has a Spell Pierce in hand.
Pierce.
I don't think John has a Gate, though.
This is a reprieve, because if we're just going to play this player creatures game and John doesn't have Gates, Jared can win this game. Jared can definitely win a game where we're just playing random things. And so
Jared's going to give him another chance to resolve a Gate. I think he had another Cub in hand, too, with the Spell Pierce.
If he had another Cub in hand, then I really would want to keep Spell Pierce up.
But Jared wants to attack, and John just like, I want all of these in my graveyard, please.
Yeah, I think you just need to kill the Ministers. Something is going to
get milled over.
Yeah, he's going to mill. Something's going to die. You can't assign 1/1/1 to all of them.
The Seeker Squire has done its job here. It's not.
Yeah, and I definitely think you just kill one of the Ministers just to prevent him from mill. And he killed the one that was summoning sick, and you're going to see John here actually choose to not mill. I think that's he's going to try to respect Deathgorge Scavenger.
Which makes sense.
It's one of those things where we might see him wait until the turn he wants to be able to activate his Gate, in which he goes end step, mill myself, untap, mill myself.
He also has an option where he has Hostage Taker and Angel Invention in hand. So he might not need to mill anything over. He's just going to cast some cards from his hand.
He actually can't cast Angel yet. It
He
is
needs
double,
the second
it
white
is double
source.
white and 5 mana.
But he can hostage take a Rogue Refiner, and here, that's pretty good.
It is and it isn't. Letting your opponent kill that hostage taker then and giving them that other trigger. You're gonna see him actually just pass the turn, not do anything. So
Jared plays land number 4, and
this is the point where I would really want to start holding up Spell Pierce if I'm Jared.
well, he's going to do that. He's going to play another Rogue Refiner. He's going to gain some energy, draw a card, draw a Bristling Hydra.
And I don't know if you attack. John, if I was John, I would snap double block.
John's not going to do either of that and take 3 down to 17, and then he's going to mill some cards. Let me see.
Hey,
Seeker
mill the
Squire
gate,
and
Seeker
two
Squire.
Gate and land.
Land.
Not the best. His draw for turn, it looked like an artifact.
It was a land, but
He had the swamp.
the lands here don't
It's a
do
walking
much.
ballista.
Yeah, so this walking ballista is going to be able to trade for a Rogue Refiner, which is probably fine. I wouldn't be surprised to see if Jared attacks with both Rogue Refiners, John block one and kill the other.
Yep.
Just to preserve his life total. And we're going to see here if Jared can... He's going to probably play the Bristling Hydra in his hand.
There's a pretty good draw
And-
there from Jared, too. It was the Rootbound Crag, which allows him to have that 5th land come into play untapped, so he can have the Bristling Hydra with the Spell Pierce backup.
Yeah, although we're getting to a point where Spell Pierce is just going to be a roadblock. It's going to prevent John from playing Gate and activating it in the same turn, probably. But he will still be able to have it resolve.
John is not blocking with Walking Ballista. He is valuing it existing on the battlefield.
Yeah, so that's a play that makes sense. Block with my 1 power creature,
Yep.
and then use my other point. I think this is a concession to the fact that he doesn't have a lot going on right now.
No,
he
he
only
doesn't.
has 1 castable card in his hand. It's Hostage Taker, and it doesn't look too good on this board. There's the next white source, so next turn he can play Angel Invention. And you're going to see here, he's either going to pump the Walking Ballista
I think he's at a Hostage Taker.
or play the Hostage Taker.
I would have minded him seeing a line where he pumps Ballista, blocks Bristling Hydra, kills Rogue Refiner. But instead he's got a Hostage Taker.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how much I like this line from John. This is going to work out poorly against a Harness Lightning.
You could argue, though, he's trying to bait a removal spell on this Hostage Taker when he's casting the Angel next turn.
Yeah, well, the Angel by itself, especially with this Bristling Hydra in play, isn't the world's biggest threat.
There's 3 mana, and here's a card that can stonewall a Angel Invention, a Warlord Virtuoso. And Jared's got 12 energy stored up in the bank. That's 4 Thopters.
Is he at 12? I think he might...
No, he's at 12. He has the option to go higher with that Attune with Aether in hand. John has
Okay,
no
yeah.
blocks, and looks like he's going to take forward on the 14. Now Jared has a bevy of options here. Of note, if John draws a Gate in the Afterlife, he can pay for that Spell Pierce.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. It's really Spell Pierce is a roadblock. It's a point where because we're getting to a point where the Gate can be played and almost activated in the same turn, especially with that Minister and the Walking Ballista.
That or he can just almost
And
flat
yeah,
out
I
cast the
see what
Godparrow's
you're
Gift.
saying, chat. I do believe he should be at 11 energy instead of 12. So I think we're going to try to get that fixed.
Yeah, he should be at 12. He was at 9 before
So
the...
3 from Whirler, 3 from Hydra, goes to 6. 7 from Aether Hub, 2 from Attune,
is 9.
and 2 from Rogue Refiner is 11.
John Nellis takes the Ape Petite.
Yeah.
And he's going to cast a Rogue Refiner of his own.
Yeah, so this play did work out well for John. He was able to dodge the Harness Lightning.
And more importantly, he knows exactly what Jared's doing. He's like, okay, yeah, you have Spell Pierce. I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
More importantly, you do not have a removal spell.
And we're at a point now where John is significantly clogged up with this board. And so just being able to find a gate or finding a Godfair's Gift almost. He's at 6 mana. You can almost hardcast one.
But again, Spell Pierce is the thing. So Gate is what he wants, not the gift
Yeah.
at this point.
Another good draw for John is just drawing Scarab God.
Yep. Can't Spell Pierce that one.
Can't Spell Pierce that. Jared does not have a good way to interact with that.
I believe Jared drew a Whirl of Virtuoso for the turn.
That is interesting. I think his plan might be here just to probably leave up one Bristling Hydra activation and just try to get in with some Thopters. That play is not gonna work out too well for him if he does that though, because of Walking Ballista on John's side of the field. He can he's not under enough pressure that he really needs to do anything. He can just
John has no Fumigates in the 75.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Most of these lists aren't running Fumigate. They don't want to destroy their own eternalized creatures. Yeah, I'm not writing off Jared yet, but this is exactly what John wants this game to progress. He wants it to get to a point where we're in this board stall, and John has the threat of drawing this very powerful late game cards.
He has the inevitability.
Correct.
There's nothing. I mean, Jared's advantage here is a bunch of Thopters,
which isn't even that much of an advantage because we have Walking Ballista. He can only make
John
4 Thopters right now, and this is a block.
He's saying, I would rather deal with all your little Thopters than one stupid Hydra.
Well, he's not even scared of the Thopters. He has Angel Invention in hand.
He's not scared of the Bristly boy. He's scared of the Thopter boys. Well, reverse that. He's not scared of the Thopter boy. He's scared of one Bristly boy.
Yeah.
I tried to meme and I failed.
So, how would you... Is there a way you were supposed to order blockers here? I think he did it Hostage Taker to Walking Ballista. He's just trying to kill the big creatures, but honestly, I would want to get this Minister of Inquiries off the board.
I want to get the Minister off the board, and I could care less about anything else. John is trying to get Jared to bait out energy to where he can make less Thopters. I would not be surprised
I would definitely
to shoot the Thopter.
So he's leaving the Minister, and that's something I don't like. I would have preferred making sure you kill the Minister and make sure you kill the Rogue Refiner. The Rogue Refiner is a creature that, when it dies, goes to your graveyard. So the creature count for John's graveyard isn't raised. And the Minister is a creature at the point where he can add more cards to his graveyard if he finds Gate, if he finds Godfair's Gift.
Jared has not respected this Minister at all.
Yeah, and that's something I've definitely seen people underestimate with the Esper deck, is how often and how early you need to kill Minister of Inquiries.
Meanwhile, here's a
4/3.
4/3.
It's a 2/1 by itself.
John has a land, I believe it's a Concealed Courtyard, and a Champion of Wits left in hand. Jared drew his turn. I don't think he looked at it.
Yeah, and CM Punk, I don't think banning Virtuoso is the way we're going to kill the energy deck.
No.
If you really want to try to kill the energy deck, I think you either need to ban Rogue Refiner or Attune. And I think at this point we just need to wait the, 4 months, 8 months? It's still going to be there.
So again, we'll see what happens this weekend at the Pro Tour. Maybe people find a way to beat it. Maybe it's just 4 mainboard Harsh Mentors, 4 mainboard Ferocidons. As John draws a 8th hub for the turn.
So yeah, Champion of Wits is going to be a very good card here.
Looks like he sees Hostage Taker and Negate. He's going to pitch Negate in a Concealed Courtyard.
So he's just going to play out this Hostage Taker, just take a Whirler Virtuoso. Yeah, he knows that there's nothing John can do about it.
There's nothing Jared can do about it.
Jared can do, but these J names, they're getting me. Long Tusk Cub's not a bad draw. He definitely does have enough energy that can attack through these creatures.
We see some whisperings in the chat about banning Aether Hub, banning Attune. I don't think you want to ban Aether Hub. I think Aether Hub is a good use of the energy mechanic. It allows for some weird ways to splash. It's a superior Tendo Ice Bridge.
Yes. I do think the problem with the energy deck is honestly, it might be Long Tusk Cub. Long Tusk Cub in a tune, it has these very powerful early game plays that we're not used to from
Law says, ban Virtuoso, unban Twin. We talking about Felder Guardian or actual Splitter Twin?
Please do not unban Felder Guardian.
I
don't want to live in that world.
Felder Guardian with Saheeli Rai and Glorybringer in the same deck. That's all I wanted to do.
So I played that deck when you could, for the 2 days you could. It was absurd. Like, I don't think I lost a game when I was playing that deck.
We were testing that. I was looking forward to it. I'm out to dinner at a nice seafood place as Jared looks to attack through a wall of creatures that John has. I was at a nice dinner with the girlfriend, had a delicious seafood pasta, and I get in the car and I see a million texts like, Jake, they banned it. I'm like, oh god.
Yeah.
What has happened?
Luckily I didn't just buy the deck. I actually had it all beforehand.
Same, yeah. And that became, well, I guess I'll just play Aetherworks Marvel. And that became, well, I guess I'll just play this Team Energy deck.
Yeah. I'm personally in the camp where Emrakul died for Marvel's sins. I think, especially with all the graveyard hate that they printed, Emrakul
was just
still
not
would have
fun
been
to play
okay.
against. I remember playing a Black Mirror in
I disagree.
Atlanta.
I loved that green black mirror.
I lost that mirror just because he cast Emrakul 4 times. I saw it 0 times.
Well, yeah, that'll happen.
That's not fun.
Well, neither was Marvel. They could have banned Marvel. Oh god, I hated Marvel so much.
I mean, we still have a clockboard state here. John does not have that Angel of Invention. He does not have a way to bring anything back yet still.
Yeah, John has not found a copy of the Gate or the Godfarer's Gift, and...
But he's holding his own, all things considered.
Yeah, this is a very interesting board state. John actually has the ability to make 3 Thopters with this Whirler Virtuoso that he stole.
And with the Kite Elf has flying, correct?
Oh, and there's a Gate.
Spell Pierce, not going to do
yeah,
anything
Spell
about
Pierce
that.
at this point. See, maybe Jared drew Negate?
Oh! But that's a Jace's defeat.
And a
John
Jace's
Douglas
defeat.
with still enough mana to pay for a Spell Pierce.
What? So I think here you Spell Pierce here. I think you're
Just make
supposed
him
to
pay
Spell
for it?
Pierce just because it's not getting better. And you don't...
Jared doesn't. And
Yeah, I think
John
you just Spell Pierce.
Immediately grabs that Godfarer's Gift. No, there it is at the bottom of his deck.
Yeah, I think you're supposed to Spell Pierce just to buy yourself a turn. He's got 7 lands in play. Spell Pierce ain't doing anything anymore. I guess he could hold it in case of a top-decked Godfarer's Gift.
But
I don't think you're beating this one Godfarer's Gift, let alone the second one.
because here comes Flying, Hasted Vigilance, Lifelinking, 6/6.
Yeah, he can make sure it didn't hit him for a decent amount of time. But other than that, there's not that much he can do.
That is very true. I opened Emrakul Nahiri in a sealed deck and did not do anything else with it.
How? How did you lose that?
I don't think I had any other playable cards besides Nahiri Emrakul.
You don't need other playable cards.
I'm Jake, Mr. Apoa.
You just play...
Looks like John has gated his way to victory here.
Yeah, I think Jared realized he was not winning that game. I'm curious to ask him how much of this matchup he's played.
That's why I killed the Minister, and that's why personally I hate Spell Pierce. It did nothing there.
Yeah, I think it depends on how you're going to play the matchup and how the matchup plays out. I do think there are some ways this matchup plays out where Spell Pierce might just be your best card.
But are those times where John, just like we talked about earlier,
yeah,
there's times where it doesn't lean up and you're looking at it and going, I wish you were in the gate.
Mm-hmm.
So John's able to gift his way to victory. That's at least one Esper gift, 3-0 tonight. We'll see how Doug Nelson did in this round. Maybe we'll have Esper gifts.
I think he was playing against Mario on the Dark Temur Tower.
So too. Oh, and it's Sam Meyer, I believe, making fun of me in the chat. Sam Meyer used to play here. He used to play Living End because he didn't want to play Interactive Magic and Modern, and he would mess up Living End and miss triggers for lethal. So make fun of Burning a lot in chat for that. We'll be back in about 10 minutes or so. We had a quick turnaround. If it wasn't for our spotter getting some Subway, last round. So hopefully, have another quick turnaround here. We'll be back shortly with our final round for Wednesday Night Standard.